All right, you must be here because you're a crew leader. Oh my gosh, guess what? You have the most funnest job ever. You get to hang out with the kids and escort them to each of their rotations. And this is so easy. All you have to do is lead by example. So in our first session, we're going to be going over our main point. We're going to be singing fun songs. So you get to lead by example and participating in these songs and encouraging these kids to engage in God's presence. It is going to be so much fun. So your starting position is going to be in the auditorium where your crew is. So we have our colors for our teams, and you will be assigned your color when you check in. So you will need to check in so that you can be aware of what team you're on, and you will have a cool bracelet to wear for your color, and all of your kids on your team are gonna also be wearing that bracelet as well, so you can keep track of which kids are on your team. We will also have a list of kids by the end of check-in, by the time it starts, to give you of all of your kids, so you can always be keeping track that you have all 12 of those Timmys and Sallys. Make sure that those kids are with you at all times, and you will have another crew leader with you. You will not be leading any team by yourself, so woohoo! Let's just remember the why of what we're doing, and these kids get to experience the presence of God. We're encouraging them to learn how to become a fully engaged follower of Christ through this VBS, and you get to be a part of seeing that happen. So as you're walking through, I hope that you have seen the first video for everyone. It talks about discipline, how we'll handle that in case of emergencies, what to do, and where each of the rotations are. So we are going to make sure that everyone is provided a lanyard that has the schedule. You're going to be your guide. It'll show you where the blue team's going to go next, and has a timeline for each of you, so that'll be super easy to navigate. And each rotation, when you're going in between classes or rotations, is only 5 minutes. So let's say you're up here in the City Kids room for crafts, and you're heading downstairs to snacks. You have 5 minutes, so that's plenty of time to walk across the church building. Make sure your kids are lined up. So let's see. Like I said, we have the safety policy where we need to make sure we have 2 leaders with kids at all times, and each kid will be escorted in a single file line. So we'll make sure that as kids are going to their next rotation, they're in a line. If there's ever an emergency, please call me. And if I'm not available for whatever reason, there will be a radio at each rotation so that you can make sure that someone is notified if there's an emergency. And for our pickup procedure, we're gonna have you sit with the kids in their designated areas in the auditorium, and their parents are going to come with their check-in card that will match the number that it should be on their shirt that has their name. So that way, whenever a parent comes, you double check that number that is on that child's name tag to ensure that it's the right parent picking up, because that's the last thing we want to happen. So you get to sit with the kids and just make sure the parents, when they're coming and picking up their kids, that they show that card, and then the parents will show it again on their way out of the auditorium to make sure they still have the right child. So it is very important. That is one of the most important safety procedures in our VBS is the check-in and pickup time, but mostly the pickup time is going to be a time that we really need to make sure that we're paying attention and we're there for these kids to make sure they're getting home safely. So other than that, like I said, this is the funnest job. You get to hang out with the kids, do the crafts with them, and you might get to eat some snacks too, and just hang out with them and just have fun with them, and encourage them in our last session, which we're going to have our message time and our worship time, and just leading them in a deeper, more meaningful relationship with Jesus. So it's an awesome opportunity. So thank you again for volunteering, and we'll see you Wednesday night.